Hey, I'm Srini, the creator of Maximize Your Apple with Mem. If you've been a longtime Mem user, you probably noticed that templates are gone in the new interface. But thanks to Mem's AI features, you can still use templates to streamline your workflow. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to structure your templates, what prompts to use, and how you can use Mem's AI features like MemChat to apply those templates to different processes. Now, let's get to the video.
So one of the things that happened when Mem changed the interface was a lot of features went away, like the inbox as well as templates. Previously, you used to be able to just press slash and you would see your template from the dropdown and be able to select it. Now, the cool thing is that you can still use templates, but now you're going to actually use Mem's AI features like Smart Write and Edit and Mem Chat to apply the template. So instead of having to create a new mem with each template, you can just create this mem once and then apply that mem, which is a template, to different types of processes. For example, meeting notes or book summaries or outlines or a blog post. And why do we want to do this? One of the things you've probably noticed, and I've noticed, is that when you use a tool like MemChat and you repeat certain tasks, one of the things that happens is the output tends to vary. It ends up looking different each time. Having the template standardizes it so it looks the same every single time. So the most important thing when it comes to templates is structuring the template so that MemChat understands what you were talking about. So the title is pretty self-explanatory. It basically is the purpose. So for example, if you have a meeting notes template, then you know that template is designed to produce meeting notes. Now, sections actually help break the whole thing down into manageable parts. So it's not just a bulleted list, although you could do that if you wanted to for your template. By having sections, you can get the gist of everything that was generated at a glance. So for example, I'll show you this when we get into the book summary. I have it broken down by section, so that way when I look at it, I can see what are the author's main arguments, what are the different quotes, instead of having it just become this jumbled up mess of text. And I like to use H2 headers for that. The final piece of this, and probably the most important piece, are the prompts that actually guide MemChat when you're using these. So in a lot of ways, you can think of the prompts inside of each template as a set of instructions for MemChat to follow. So let me show you an example of what a template like this looks like. I'm going to pull up the book summary template that we're going to apply to a book here. And you can see here that I have it put in the author's name, a list of the most valuable insights, and explanation of specific concepts. Now, one thing that I could do here is I could say, format this such that each one of these is 5 bullets. And that's the way I like to do my book summaries. And this has actually ended up being really useful for me when I want to summarize a book for an upcoming podcast guest, even though I have read the entire book. So in a lot of ways, you can think about a summary like this as automating Tiago Forte's concept of progressive summarization, in which all the most important points are distilled, and you do it using Mem's AI features. So that's the structure of the template. Now, how do you create these templates? Now, obviously, since you're going to use MemChat to apply the templates, you might as well have MemChat help you create the templates. So that way MemChat understands what you're talking about. And one of the things I like to do when I have MemChat create templates is ask it, if I tell you to apply this template to, say, a transcript or a meeting, will you be able to understand everything inside of this template? So what we're going to do is we're going to hop into MemChat really quick, and I'm going to have MemChat actually create this template for us. So the other thing about these templates, once they're created, they basically just stay there and you're just going to reference them. And that way you'll basically say, apply the meeting notes template to whatever it is. And so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to copy and paste it, and we're going to create a new note, and this will become our meeting notes template. The other thing is you can actually create a collection with all of your templates so you know what they are. Now that we've created these templates, let's actually apply them. One thing that's really important here is the specific language you're using, because if you say something like apply the book summary template, sometimes MemChat will get confused. But here we're being very clear in terms of what we wanted to do. And so now what we're going to do is actually use this prompt. This says generate a summary of building a second brain using the book summary template. And so what it's going to do now is it's going to give us a summary of building a second brain with the exact structure that is inside of the template that we've set up. So you can see here, it's actually giving me several bullets, and I can tell it, okay, let's expand this to 5 bullets. There are a couple of different things we could do here to make this better. So for example, I could basically have it bold the titles for each specific concept, and I could say, okay, give 5 specific concepts or 5 memorable quotes or anything I wanted to do. So now we've got a book summary done. And we just created a simple template. We had MemChat generate a summary based on that template of a particular note. So usually what I like to do when I'm referencing very specific notes, as you saw inside my demonstration outline, is to bidirectionally link to both the template and the note that I want to summarize. So now let's actually look at one other example. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to take a meeting transcript based on a meeting I had with somebody a couple days ago. And I'm going to have MemChat actually do a meeting summary based on that transcript using the meeting notes template that we created earlier. And so what we should get is something similar to what we got from the book summary for building a second brain. And you can see here that it basically is giving me the entire, sort of concept here. And basically what it's giving me is a pretty decent summary of the transcript, and I could ask it for more details. So that's the beauty of these templates, is they streamline the process of distillation and summarization of very detailed notes, for example, book notes or something else. But you can also use these template ideas, for example, to do something like create content. So if we wanted to, we could say, okay, let's have MemChat create a content creation template, generate a content creation template for writing blog posts, include introduction, key sections, and key ideas. And so this way, when you have an idea for something, instead of just being stuck with the idea, you can actually just take the template and apply it to the idea. And so you'll end up having the idea quite a bit more flushed out. So let's just say we wanted to apply this idea to something like network thought. So what we're going to do is apply this template to the idea how network thinking will transform knowledge management. And instead of just this template, what we'll end up getting is something very specific to the idea. So you can see here that it's giving us basically everything that we might want to include in the article, the things that we might want to talk about. And then we can actually go a lot further with this and even link different notes from our knowledge base to make this outline much more comprehensive. In a nutshell, you've seen how you can still use templates inside of Mem, even though they are not part of the features in the new interface. You can create them yourself and use MemChat to apply them. So let's go back over the steps. First, you want to make sure you have your structure right, which means having a good title, clear sections, and prompts that guide it properly. You also want to make sure it's consistent in terms of the format. And I typically like to think about templates in situations where the content changes, but the process itself doesn't. So for example, I have a video outline template that I use every time I do one of these videos. This is actually created using a template. So when I came up with the idea for this tutorial, I told MemChat, hey, apply my video tutorial template. And of course, it's not going to be perfect on the first attempt with most of these things. Usually requires an iteration. But when you're having these iterations, the most useful thing you can do is actually see it as an opportunity to update your templates to reduce iterations in the future. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have a prompt that specifically tells MemChat to do something with one note using that template. So in this case, we said generate a summary of building a second brain using the book summary template. Or in the second example, we said generate a summary of a meeting using the meeting notes template. And that in a nutshell is how you use templates in the new interface. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.